Chronicle of the Seven-Colored World. A high school boy from planet Legan is reborn as Albert in a chaotic and ridiculously simple isekai story. He's destined to save a world on the brink of collapse. But this is no ordinary tale. It features an utterly nonsensical power system, so broken that the protagonist's survival seems miraculous. The female characters have a tendency towards homicidal rage, ready to kill him for the slightest offense. Shadowy organizations pop up out of nowhere, plotting with the world's destruction. And even allies are constantly ready to backstab each other. Despite receiving tons of negative reviews, readers are strangely drawn to its anxiety-inducing plot. It's suffocating, yet strangely addictive. I'm one of them. But if I suddenly found myself in that crazy world, would I still be laughing? Suddenly a shout rings out, calling for Judian. He quickly grabbed the weapon and rushed towards Jado. "Jado Knight, over here!" Looking at the scene before him, he couldn't help but sigh. What a tragedy, he thought. One guy running scared in a battlefield. And one wrong move turns him into tomato juice. The monster slammed its fist down. Luckily, he managed to escape. He then handed a sword to Jado. "Knight Jado, here's your backup sword." Jado angrily scolded him. "You're slow as a turtle, you idiot." Next, he handed a shield to Colin. "Knight Colin, here!" he yelled. "Colin, hurry up and get over here!" After handing over the equipment, he quickly ran off. Rage filled his heart. "Damn it," he thought, "I even brought it to you personally!" The monster swung its arm at him, but Jado quickly blocked the attack. Jado lunged forward, slashing across the monster's body. Seeing that he was still safe, he was overwhelmed with gratitude. "At least I'm still grateful," he thought. Jado defended with all his might. Then, seizing a moment when the monster was distracted, he jumped up to attack. The monster's head landed right next to him. That was almost another game over. He jumped back, dodging the attack and landing on his bony frame. After escaping, he sat up in pain, wiping the blood from his mouth. "I've been living in this body for 3 years. When I opened my eyes, I was a 14-year-old orphan, surrounded by complete strangers, in the worst possible situation, surrounded by unfamiliar faces. The only thing that saved me was inheriting Judian's memories, this body's original owner. For the first month, I tried everything to get back to Korea, but quickly realized it was all pointless." His thoughts were interrupted by a voice. "Ika Knight. The holy sword and treasure are in there, I believe. Those pathetic creatures are no match for us. And this guy is the Count of the Ika border territory, the noble Kalanwan Ika. He's more like a cheerleader than a commander. No, he's actually Judian's young master." The knight's blood pressure just shot up 50 points. "Young Master Kalen yelling like that is dangerous," he reminded. Kalen, ignoring him, flailed around with his sword. "You insignificant monsters! What can you possibly do to me?" Kalen's behavior made him so embarrassed he wanted to crawl into a hole. "You crazy idiot, shut up!" Watching Kalen's radiant confidence, he wished that this was just a story about him being the failed son of some noble family. Then maybe he would have been happy. He slumped down, cursing the heavens and earth. Why did it have to be this world? The world I've fallen into is anything but normal. A crazy setting where the world almost ends at least 3 times throughout the story. And I'm just a nameless side character who appears for no reason. A world where destroying an entire city or country is just a minor inconvenience. Suddenly, a horde of monsters surged from the cave, throwing the soldiers into a panic. The monsters prepared to fight. Seeing the monsters before him, he secretly rejoiced. "I want to die!" Suddenly, someone repeatedly called his name. Judian. Judian! How did I end up in this dungeon again? He was slapped hard across the face and scolded. "You messed up so badly that even the Count found out. Aren't you a commoner hired as a servant for Kalen to prevent things like this?" Why is she Countess Luca of the Ika territory?" He said painfully, "I apologize." Luca berated him. "If anything happens to Kalen, I will crush you and drink you down." He hadn't done anything, yet he was being blamed. It was so unfair. He looked towards Kalen. But Kalen quickly turned away. Furious, he thought, "Can I quit this job? Or maybe just kill her." Kalan, the eldest son of the Ika family, and future successor of this border region, was infamous throughout the land. He was notoriously useless. After the scolding, he wearily returned to his room. All the trouble he'd faced seemed to follow this same pattern. He remembered when he'd warned Kalen, "Young master, you and your friends stole 3 thoroughbred horses from Baron Haman's estate. This is the accusation letter. Deal with it yourself," he'd said, dismissing it. He continued, "The Lord is following," but demanded the return of his family's ancestral sword. Kalen just kept repeating, "Handle it yourself." His irresponsibility was driving the other man crazy, but he tried to remain calm. Lord Boyton was standing at the gate, sword in hand, threatening to make the young master pay for harming his sister. Kalen simply said, "Handle it yourself." Refusing to back down, he reminded the young master that the Count was already furious because he'd been involved with the underworld recently. Kalen started to say, "Handle it," but before he could finish, the young master gasped, "What?" Kalen paced nervously. "Oh no, this is bad." He knows, doesn't he? The other man confirmed grimly, "Of course he knows." He was beyond frustrated. "This is the 5th time this month." He put his head in his hands. "Kalen, I told you. Messing with those people would only bring trouble. So while I was away on business, you were causing trouble?" Kalen, startled, quickly denied it. "No, it's not like that." "Are you crazy? Why do you keep putting me in these situations?" He raged. "Playing around with underground criminals, the festering sore of the Empire. Honestly, this wouldn't be such a big deal on its own. After all, this is Kalen, and Kalen is practically royalty around here. The real problem is that a royal envoy witnessed everything. Well, and the news has already spread to the capital, thanks to those nobles at the Grand Castle." Kalen cowered under his furious gaze, denying everything vehemently. "But I'm a minor lord, aren't I?" "I was thinking, what if I went undercover?" he interjected, frustration evident. He cut off Kalen's panicked explanation. "Go undercover," he repeated. "I think we might be able to find the organization's leader." "Yeah, but not just these small-time crooks." He pointed sharply at Kalen. "So, you're trying to make a name for yourself with this, huh?" Kalen was left speechless. Seeing him like this, he sighed in frustration. Lately, illegal slavery, drugs, and loan sharking have been rampant around the border. The central government has demanded strict control. The Imperial Central Management Delegation, Count Mojian brushed it off, saying not to worry about it. He yelled at Kalen, reminding him. And now, his son has given them a reason to interfere. He racked his brain for a solution. What should he do? If something happens to Kalen, he'd be toast. This situation wasn't supposed to happen until the main story began, but he couldn't let it happen now. Suddenly, someone's hair fell down. He sighed for the second time. Then, with a shiny bald head, he said with a grin, "You're going to lose your position as Viscount. You better start thinking about joining a monastery." Hearing this, Kalen called out to Judian. "Wait, in the capital, Nevin, where the Emperor's influence is absolute, this kind of thing is enough to get you beheaded. If that happens, my head will roll too. Think, Judian. There's only one way to get through this crisis. Safely." The two of them went and knocked on a door. A voice from inside said, "Come in." Both Judian and Kalen entered, looking anxious. The man before them spoke, "You're here." Both were sweating profusely as soon as they entered. Then Judian silently decided, "I'll expose all that brat's dirty tricks." This stern man was the Border Count, Ikazak von Ika. The Border Count? The man beside the Count looked at him with sparkling eyes, as if to say, "You worked so hard." He was the commander of the Count's private night squadron, Desert von Hausen, captain of the collection. His eyes lit up as he looked at Desert. "I'm always grateful for your understanding, Desert." Seeing the sparkle in his eyes, Ziet couldn't help but sigh. "But this time I can't overlook it. That boy caused trouble while I wasn't looking." "What am I supposed to do?" "You should have handled things better." The Count spoke up. "I heard from the head butler. You caused quite a stir this time, didn't you? Do you have any idea who you interacted with?" he said, pointing at Kalen, causing him to stammer nervously. It's like the Count said. It's one of those organizations. The Royal Knights had to personally step in and put a stop to it." Daichi was surprised, while Kalen was speechless. The Count's words made Daichi worry. "This is more serious than I thought. If the Royal Knights had to intervene, and then the scale of what he's involved in is beyond my imagination. The Yggdra family. Would we not owe the royal family a great debt?" "Kalen, prepare to enter the monastery." Kalen slammed her hand on the table. "Father!" The Count frowned. "It's not forever." "Not forever. But you need time to repent." 5 years. Daichi remained silent, thinking. "Just as I predicted." "But according to the chronicles of the seven-colored world, the great chaos won't begin for another 5 years. By then, the entire continent will be bathed in blood. War spread everywhere, and I was swept away like a falling leaf, ending in a tragic death. Father, Kalen still wants to resist." "Father, please wait a moment," but the Count wouldn't listen. "Is there anything left to say?" Kalen slammed his hand on the table. "I will atone for my mistakes," he declared. "I will achieve great deeds, enough to erase this error, and bring glory to our family." Hearing this, the Count sighed in frustration. But no matter what you achieve, in the current situation, it won't stop the royal intervention. Unless, it's an exceptionally outstanding feat. Kalen then suggested an idea. The deadline holy sword. The Count was taken aback. Deadline? The man eavesdropping on their conversation was sweating bullets. Impossible! That dungeon's way too tough for him right now. This idiot's not just lost his mind, he's got a death wish. After slamming her hand on the table, Kalen complained about the deadline. News of that dungeon got out. That's why those criminals showed up in the first place. And if you can retrieve the deadline, the sword of Duke Daffy-Font will definitely have the duchy's support. Hearing his arrogant words, he felt powerless. That Kalen guy is desperately trying to save his own skin. There's no way criminals from the underworld would come here, just for an ordinary dungeon. For example, remember the incident inside Abotit's stomach? A dungeon sealing the evil god Abotit suddenly appeared, attracting a cult trying to revive him. A 100,000 strong army was assembled to destroy them. The zealous cultists marched forth, and in the end, they all became a snack in Abotit's belly. That event became a bloody lesson for the entire world about the dangers of dungeons. From then on, exploration teams are always sent in first. There's no way the Count will accept that proposal. The Count worriedly reminded him, it's a dungeon with an unconfirmed difficulty rating. Even if it's in our territory, we can't just send troops charging in like that. Kalen grabbed his father's hand firmly. I will succeed. Father, please trust me this time. The Count was speechless, taken aback by his son's plea. He didn't know what to say. The other man smirked, thinking the Count would agree. Impossible! To lose both his heir and his main force. Unless the Count was insane, why would he agree? Suddenly the Count spoke. Very well. He was stunned. What? I'll trust you this once, Kalen, the Count said. I'll give you 30 nights, including Daisy, since you promised. You must reclaim deadline. He was completely speechless. The Count, oblivious to his shock, turned to the other man. Judian, I entrust Kalen's safety to you. Their stupidity was infuriating. Oh no, this is a disaster. The Count placed his trust in Kalen, saying, I believe in you, son, this time. You won't disappoint me, father. Kalen was overjoyed by his father's faith in him. I will retrieve the holy sword and return. I'm glad to hear that, my son, the Count replied. That's my boy. Meanwhile, the other guy was petrified. Oh my god, I'm so screwed. Back on the battlefield, the monstrous horde was a terrifying sight. Dazid rallied his troops. Monsters, prepare for battle. The old man was worried. We're starting off with a minotaur? This isn't going to be easy. It's only the beginning, and it's already like this. What horrors await us deeper in? May the gods have mercy on us. From a safe distance, another man thought to himself, thank goodness, it hasn't reached the level that appears in the main story of the Chronicle of World 7. Normal color, high-level demons or ancient weapons will appear. Then we have to get out of here immediately. If it's just regular creatures like minotaurs, then this dungeon is still acceptable. Desert shouted. All right, let's move forward. Inside the cave, he thought to himself, what should I do from now on? Just 3 years after the original story begins, the continent will be ravaged by war with the demons. And 15 years after that, humanity will nearly go extinct. But there's still time before the apocalypse. From now until then, I'll save up a ton of money and hide away in the mountains. No, wait. I'll create my own happy ending. He walked along, happily lost in thought. Kalen walked ahead, laughing like a maniac. Everything is going so well, so smoothly. He was arrogant with this group. Not only will we meet the deadline, but we'll also snag all the treasure in this dungeon. Daisy cautioned Kalen. Young master being so loud could be dangerous. Daisy was so thoughtful, but Kalen brushed off her warning. Don't worry, he said. Whatever shows up, we can handle it. Just as he finished speaking, Kalen noticed something ahead. Suddenly, a rock fell from the ceiling and hit him on the head. Then, a shower of rocks rained down, scaring everyone. What's happening? Just then, a monster landed before them. Seeing it, Daisy broke out in a cold sweat. Damn it! I think we've walked into a trap, she announced. They were surrounded, trapped with no way out. Monsters blocked their path. Daisy, fueled by adrenaline, charged forward, trying to force her way through. Group 1, push back the golems, he commanded. The rest of you, protect the young master! The monsters slaughtered those left behind. Screams for help filled the air. Seeing Kalen hesitate, he grabbed his hand and pulled him along. This way, young master! Suddenly he froze. Huh? Why are they coming towards us? The monsters chased them deeper into the forest. Dazit appeared out of nowhere, leaping high into the air. He slashed at the monsters. "Young master," he yelled. He turned to see the monsters completely unharmed. What the hell? "Judian, help!" Kalen cried out, but he quickly refused. "No!" He threw Kalen away from the attacking monsters. Seeing his sacrifice, Kalen was moved to tears. Judian lay flat on the ground thinking, he was just Kalen's servant. If he dies, I die too. Suddenly the monster slammed down, causing him excruciating pain. He coughed up blood, disoriented. What was that? The monster flung his body, leaving Kalen stunned. Daze's face was equally shocked. He plummeted into the abyss, desperately calling out for Window. After a moment of unconsciousness, he abruptly woke up. He was bewildered to find himself still alive. Wasn't I dead? Am I okay? Is this hell? He quickly sat up and tested his limbs, then gasped in surprise. His body seemed completely unharmed. He joyfully stretched out his arms. Right before I died, my prayer reached the universe. And then, ta-ta! No way I awakened like that. But where is this place? He looked around, recalling the story. This is a dungeon in the abyss of the demon world, formed from the magic of a negative dimension. If it wasn't magic, there's no way it could glow so brightly. Suddenly, a voice echoed, "You've awakened." Startled, Daichi turned to see a giant glowing red eye staring back at him. He was terrified. What the hell is that? He was so scared he foamed at the mouth and fainted. The eye called out, Hey, you finally woke up again. My sincerest apologies. Sorry, you're just so ugly, it kind of freaked me out. Is that supposed to be an apology? Well, whatever. You're the first human I've seen in 1,000 years. I thought only divine beings could find this place. What a surprise today has been. It continuously used one of its appendages to poke Daichi a look of fascination on its face. It was starting to annoy him. How can something with no mouth talk so much? He quickly stepped back. Where am I? It quickly replied, This is where I was sealed. These ruins were built 3,000 years ago by a lost civilization. Called Adora. Adora? Daichi questioned. He was sweating nervously. I've never heard of a civilization called Adora, not even in the original story. I need more information about this. He thought for a moment, then reached out. So you were sealed in these ruins? It cheerfully nodded. That's right. I've never been assigned a master. So I remained dormant until now. The moment you entered this space, I awakened. Trying to hide his fear, Daichi asked, Who are you? It immediately introduced itself. I am an artificial intelligence, a 7th-generation surveillance type, left behind by the Adora civilization. My name is Akadia. He was surprised by its introduction. An AI. I thought this inheritance was from some evil god, but it has a name that sounds like paradise. Acadia stated its desire. I want you to become my master. He was worried by the sudden proposal. Master, he thought it over. If I refuse, who knows what kind of trouble I'll get into? He then asked a question. What do I gain from this? Before he could finish, Acadia stabbed something into his forehead. He felt a sharp pain. A notification window appeared before his eyes. With the current situation, this is the only way I can survive. He stared at the stats on the board, completely stunned. Name Judian, age 17, descendant of the Ika clan, strength 5, agility 7, stamina 7. Mana, none, total combat power 1. He couldn't help but scoff at the pathetic numbers. What are these ridiculously low stats? Wait a second, is this a real status window? Acadia explained. There aren't quests like in games, but you can see an opponent's stats. They're quantified based on your own. There's one drawback. If the difference in power is too great, you won't see the exact numbers. Daichi's eyes lit up, ignoring the metaphorical blood gushing from his head. He realized, if I can't see the numbers, that means it's best not to mess with them. This ability alone was a lifesaver. Acadia spoke again. This place is inaccessible to those who don't meet the requirements. Not even a god could enter, no matter the method. He grew serious. What are the requirements? It quickly replied, You must be an outsider. Confused, he asked, What do you mean? Acadia admitted, Honestly, I'm not sure. I thought you were a god. But your presence disproves all my theories. Intrigued, he wondered, How did you know I was an outsider? It answered swiftly, based on whether the core within me, currently sealed elsewhere, reacts to your presence. It also means you have the authority to recall the terminals that my creator scattered. The more it spoke, the more confusing its words became. Ask the terminal again? What's that? Ba-Akadia patiently explained. That's artificial intelligence. The first generation, Model 10, is called Adozado. The second generation exploratory AI is Ellison. The third generation recovery AI is Utopia. The fourth generation transportation AI, Imun. The fifth generation combat AI, Sambala. Oh, such magnificent legacies. And then there's Eden, the sixth generation restoration AI. These are the 6 auxiliary AIs left behind by our creators. Each time you collect a terminal from one of these generations, we can use its corresponding specialized ability. And if you collect all the terminals, then my main body, currently sealed outside, will be fully activated. After hearing all of this, Daichi fell into deep thought. If what it said was true, maybe he could do things he'd never even considered before. Things he never thought possible. Maybe he could even rewrite his ending. With that thought, he made up his mind. All right, I agree to become your master. Acadia praised his decision. A wise choice indeed. He chose this path also because the world is about to descend into chaos. It's best to be prepared early on. Finally, the two of them made a pact. Acadia said cheerfully, I look forward to working with you, master. He replied with equal enthusiasm. The pleasure is all mine, Adi. Acadia seemed pleased to be called by that name. Adi, that has a nice ring to it. For the time being, my true body is still sealed, so I can't fully support you yet, master. Not completely, but if we gather 10 Aizen fighting in Shambhala, we can even face the gods themselves. You can do it, master. Acadia's cheerfulness made him feel uneasy. He felt a strange sense of being deceived. Acadia then asked, What will you do next, master? He stood up, resolute. First, we need to get back to my group. After we get through this crisis, we'll find a way to collect all 10 of your terminals. Acadia was delighted to see him in such high spirits. That's the spirit. Master, fortunately, Adi knows this dungeon like the back of his hand. All the entrances, exits, traps, shortcuts, everything. According to Adi, he was originally destined to fall straight down and meet his maker, but luckily, Adi sensed his presence and woke him up just in time. That's how he pulled him out of danger and saved his life. Thinking about his near-death experience, he shuddered. I almost died. This might be a sick joke by that damn author, the one who faked his death. Suddenly, Daichi noticed something. A body appeared before him, piquing his curiosity. Who was that? He wondered fearfully. Not only did they get past the dungeon's core, but they made it all the way here. If this person was an adventurer, they must have been one of the best on the continent. Acadia revealed the body's identity to him. It was an adventurer who infiltrated this place about 15 years ago. He evaded all the monsters above and made it this far, but he didn't meet the requirements. So he couldn't open the door, and in the end he died after a long struggle. Daichi felt a pang of sympathy. He endured so much to reach the depths of the dungeon, only to discover it needed a key, one he could never possess. Hey, Acadia. Seeing him touching the body, she asked nervously. What are you doing? He replied, collecting 10 mementos. Even if it's tragic, we gotta take what we can get, right? Besides, taking 10 items from the deceased is a common practice. It's customary for adventurers. Acadia, puzzled, said, Customary? I thought we agreed to call it grave robbing. He grinned mischievously. No way! He then pulled out a pocket watch, which looked quite valuable. This pocket watch looks like it could fetch a good price. Whoa, maybe even 10 gold pieces. Seems like this was a pretty wealthy adventurer. His name is Albert. Albert Zetten. That name rings a bell. Suddenly he realized something. Albert! Seeing his reaction, a confused Acadia called out. Master. He looked at the name tag on the corpse and trembled. He stumbled back in fear. What was that? Why that name of all names? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, I, Z. That's the name of the main character in the Chronicle of the Seven-Colored World. He tried to calm himself. Okay, breathe, just breathe. Chronologically speaking, this shouldn't be happening yet. It's too soon. His real name is Legolung, 19 years old. After failing his college entrance exams, he went looking for a truck to isekai himself. And he actually got hit by one. And got transported to another world. He was reborn into a minor lord's family, received a blessing from the god of creation, obtained the legendary artifact of the White World, and the holy sword of the god of order, Zandia. Thus began his journey as the universe's chosen one. The first part of the Chronicle of the Seven-Colored World is mostly him crushing the skulls of demons. Back in the present, the body on the ground confused him. What in the world is going on here? There's no proof yet. Or that this skeleton is actually the main character? At least there's one good thing. This skeleton's armor is from the northern kingdom of Erkon, not the Mojian Empire where Abbott was born, and this body is fully grown. And while the main character is insecure about his short height, this body seems too large to be Abbott. So what's really happening here? Acadia, something on your mind? No, Master, nothing at all, he quickly denied. Based on the timeline, the main story, so you haven't even started yet. So Abbott should still be living a normal life as a child. Still, I'm a little worried, because this isn't too far from the main character's homeland. It's not far at all. Once I'm out of here, I can hire someone to look into his situation. There's no need to panic. And if I get a chance to meet Abbott, these items might help me build a connection. Please, let this all be a misunderstanding. Follow Acadia's lead. This way. Based on the map, Acadia continues to guide you. There are monsters and traps straight ahead. We recommend turning right. He looks at Acadia, his face pale. This guy is surprisingly easy to travel with. He spots Kalen's group. He happily runs towards them, waving. Young master. Suddenly, Daisy turns around defensively. Stop right there, you bastard! One more step and I'll cut you down! Suddenly, having a sword pointed at him, Acadia is confused. What's going on? He gives a nervous laugh. Abandoning your post? Or did you do something? Desert yelled in disbelief. No way, Judian. You fell down that cliff! How could you have survived? This has to be an imposter trying to trick us! Hearing this, Judian began to sweat, thinking to himself, well, he's not entirely wrong. Desert continued to rant. No one survives a fall like that unscathed. Unless they're a fake. Judian stammered. Sir Desert, when I fell, I managed to grab onto a branch growing from the cliff face. Then I found a cave below. It must have been left by some adventurer, preparing for an emergency. That's how I survived. And luckily, I didn't encounter any monsters on the way back. So, yeah, I was incredibly lucky. Desert remained unconvinced. He pressed his sword closer to Judian's neck and yelled. Quiet, he stammered fearfully. It's true, I swear it's the truth. Desert insisted. Prove you're the real Judian in 10 seconds. Or I'll cut you down. 1 second. 10 seconds passed. A cut appeared on his neck from Desert's sword. Come on, he cried out, then yelled furiously, Cynthia! He quickly spilled Daisy's secret. Remember when you were flirting with Cynthia, the clerk at the Dewdrop Inn? And your wife caught you? You clung to her waist, crying and begging her not to go back to her mother's house. You were practically groveling for forgiveness. Daisy quickly interrupted. Wait a minute! What nonsense are you spouting? He looked around nervously, afraid others would hear. Captain, he insisted. What he said is true. He's telling the truth. Only then did Daisy slowly lower his sword. That's not, well, he was relieved to see that Desert was no longer a threat. I'm probably going to get it from Master Desert after this, but survival first. Kalen, seeing him alive, ran over and cheerfully asked Judian, What took you so long? Desert, flustered, called out, Young Master Kalen, and ordered him, I was bored to death without you here. Get back in formation, Slowpoke. Seeing Kalen's unchanged, obnoxious behavior, he sighed. He's still the same as ever. Daisy interjected, Young Master Kalen, please say it. No matter how you look at it? He's way too unharmed to have survived that.
What do you mean? He didn't listen. He looks exactly the same as before.
All right, Desert said, exasperated. That's the problem. Just leave Kalen be. He doesn't care. If anything happens, Master Desert will handle it. We're almost there anyway. Don't waste your energy on trivial matters. He felt relieved that there was nothing else to worry about. At least I'm still alive. Daisy turns back. Let's go. Acadia observes the surroundings. The murderous aura hasn't disappeared yet. It's strange. We're almost at the end of the maze, An says, puzzled. But no one seems to notice us. Acadia explains. More accurately, they can't sense us. But the people in this world shouldn't be able to sense my presence. Unless I intentionally reveal myself. An asks, what about me? Acadia affirms you are an outsider. And my master, An falls into deep thought. An outsider. If they've only just noticed my presence now, then maybe this isn't a power. How a hack specifically for possessed hosts. Meaning, besides me, there are others who have crossed into the chronicle world. This colorless world. Suddenly, something appeared before everyone, radiating a murderous aura. They saw a sword gripped tightly in its hand. There it is, Kalen said. The figure with the overwhelming killing intent revealed a horrifying face. It was a death knight. Kalen rushed forward. That's the holy sword, Diali. The information from the Duke was correct. So then, the one who betrayed the Duke's family and fled 55 years ago. It must be Sir Simi Seaman. Seeing them approach, the Death Knight stood and spoke. How disappointing. More knights from the Deathafon family. Why did Deaf Eyes order you to surround me? You said Sir Simi Seaman? Why did you betray the Duke's family and steal the Holy Sword? You abandoned your knighthood to become this? Simi reacted to Daisy's accusations. Betrayal? You fools, blind to the rot beneath your feet. You are not worthy of my answer. With those words, Simi summoned skeletal soldiers, surprising Daiz. Skeletal soldiers? Don't panic, he urged. Squads 2 and 3, take care of these small fry. Squad 1 with me. We'll take down that traitor. As soon as Daiz finished speaking, they charged towards Simi. Both sides clashed, an even match. Daiz was bewildered. What's with this guy? Why won't he go down? He seems even stronger than before. Simi's arm was slashed, bone fracturing, but he regenerated, laughing. Is that all you've got? Daiz cursed, infuriated. Damn it! This bastard's health and mana? It's endless, a soldier reported to Daiz. That skeleton captain is regenerating too. At this rate, we'll be exhausted before we can even defeat him. Ignoring the dire situation, Kalen ordered his soldiers. Hold the line! No retreat for the knights. Watching him relentlessly give orders, Addy felt a sense of helplessness. After the exchange, he turned to Acadia and asked, What do you see? It quickly replied, There's an outside force interfering, Master. Confused, he wondered, An outside force? Acadia gently reminded him, You can see it too, Master. Try using asterisk, those asterisk eyes, Master. He understood. Those eyes. Right. He quickly activated them. He saw Simi's status. Name, Simi. Occupation, engineer. Status, deceased. Age, unknown. Title, Death's Engineer. Subtype, loyal undead, bound. Strength, 127. Agility, 102. Stamina, 192. Mana, 54. Total combat power, 9,260. Trait, currently linked to Dungeon Core. Temporarily granted immortality and infinite mana. Total combat power, 9,260. Trait, currently linked to Dungeon Core. Temporarily granted immortality and infinite mana. After seeing the status board, Daichi was curious. Connect to the Dungeon Core, he wondered? Suddenly, he was startled. Deep inside, he saw a glowing red stone. Acadia explained it was a blood mana stone. A high-level magic stone, often used as dungeon cores or mana storage. For liches, she added. This dungeon was a mage's workshop. 500 years ago, the mana buildup inside is immense. Without special measures, we'll be wiped out with our current strength. Excited, Daichi asked Acadia, Can we destroy it? Acadia thought. The blood mana stone isn't too hard. But can you break through to reach it? Meanwhile, Simi continued controlling the skeletons, making them fight the soldiers ferociously. Seeing this, a terrified Daichi exclaimed, She's crazy! Acadia showed him the reality of rushing out now. They would surely be discovered. With his current physical condition, the probability of death was 90%. He suddenly turned to the soldiers, silent. A curious Acadia called out to him. He clenched his fists in frustration and asked, Is there no other way? Meanwhile, with Daisy, a soldier, seeing the dire situation, spoke to him. Captain, I think we should retreat. If those monsters target the young master, we won't be able to stop them. Daisy hesitated. He wouldn't order a retreat easily. Suddenly, a soldier ordered everyone to restrain the young master. Kalen was still eager to seize the sword, despite being held back. He yelled, I must get that sword. A sweating desert desperately searched for a solution. There has to be a way to break through this! Daichi yelled in frustration. Hey, desert! Look at the stone on its back. Doesn't it look super suspicious? Hearing this, Daichi turned to look at the stone. That's a blood magic stone. How could we have missed that? Father! Daichi exclaimed. Anoth! Can you two time it to destroy that core? Anoth blocked a skeletal warrior, replying, Captain, it's impossible. If the number of skeletons were still like before, maybe? But now there are too many, and they're too strong, Desert anxiously insisted. Even so, we have to try. If their numbers keep increasing like this and our escape route is blocked, if we can't destroy them, we're as good as dead. Arcadia, puzzled, muttered, We shouldn't have mentioned the blood magic stone. He rummaged through his backpack. Now the knights know they're targeting it. Their attention will be focused on one spot. Acadia tried to stop him. There's no need for you to risk yourself, Master. He didn't listen, determined that out of all of them, he had the best chance of success, even without using mana. I can at least still swing this sword. Resolute, he hid in a shadowed corner, waiting for his chance. If discovered, he was done for. Desert was busy fighting off skeletons and telling Anat to hurry. Let's go. Suddenly, Simi appeared, swinging his sword. I won't let you get past me. He swung his sword down with a mighty blow, a terrifying sight to behold. Simi's strike shattered the surrounding ground. Kalen was terrified. That bastard's a sword master. Run! Everyone, retreat! Retreat. A soldier quickly briefed Kalen on the situation. Young master, don't retreat. Terrified, he kept calling out for his father. Father, Dazed told all the soldiers. If they don't want to die, get up now. That guy definitely can't use that move again. Not a second time. Lee glanced behind him. He saw that almost all his soldiers were dead. He wondered, is this the end? He gripped his sword tighter, determined, as a knight of the Sutum clan. I can't die like this. Even if I die, I must help the young master escape. Suddenly, Simi looked to the side. A curious daisy followed his gaze. What is it? Why is he looking back? The man was sweating profusely from fear. He was trying to sneak closer to the stone, but Simi spotted him. Damn it! He cursed under his breath, fear gripping him. He found me. Of all times, why now? Acadia said calmly, well, getting this far without being detected was lucky enough. It doesn't matter now, we've been found out, he argued. Simi, realizing his intentions, flew into a rage. You insolent fool. He leaped into the air, his weapon raised to strike him down. But he seized the moment, rushing towards the stone and yelling, Stay back, you walking corpse. Simi's weapon came crashing down, but Desert blocked the blow with his hammer, making him cry out in relief. Lord Desert. Desert turned back, ordering, Judian, go, destroy the core. If you succeed, I will forgive your previous foolishness. Hearing this, he raced towards the core, determined to complete his mission. I will do it. That bastard! He raised the hammer, thinking one blow, just one, would be the end. Suddenly, a wave of killing intent washed over him, making him tremble. He froze. A voice filled with disdain echoed, Which insignificant insect dares touch my heart? I am Ketseedman, the great black king, for the crime of coveting my heart. I shall have you atone with your death. Hearing this, he became worried. This blood magic stone wasn't just a simple dungeon error. Ketseedman, a lich who appeared in the early stages, during the 7-year reincarnation cycle, an annihilation-level archmage, capable of slaying even the Vermilion Dragon with a single spell, the destroyer of nations. Ketseedman declared, I will grant you a painless death. His words filled him with terror. Then Ketseedman swiftly launched a finishing blow. Seeing him charging, Ketseedman quickly used his deadly finishing spell. He squeezed his eyes shut in fear. But when nothing happened, confusion set in. Huh? What's going on? Cat Lay, trapped inside the stone, was equally bewildered. What just happened? Something's not right here. They exchanged puzzled glances. Cat Lay interjected. Wait, why didn't my death curse work? Who are you? Don't tell me you're some kind of god. Daichi looked down at himself, questioning aloud. Now that I think about it, I'm not dead, am I? Cat Lay furiously screamed. Death curse, finishing blow. Impossible. A divine-level protection spell. Are you truly a god? Seeing Cat Lay ramble on and on, Daichi didn't know how to respond. He turned to Acadia. Did you do that? Acadia gave a cheerful thumbs up. That's right, master. That guy dared to use a low-level curse on you, so I blocked it. My functions are still limited, but this is still within my capabilities. Listening to Acadia's smooth talking, it makes me wonder. A level 9 assassination curse is considered low level? Seriously? Acadia, why are you so surprised? Don't be so cocky. I'm a pretty advanced AI, I'm telling you the truth. Now you can see Acadia's brilliance and superiority. Neutralizing Gatling's special move so effortlessly. If all functions were restored, how strong would this guy be? So bright, suddenly Gatling called out to him. Hey you, stay right there. I'll open a spatial gate right now and come to you. Gatling once said. This blood demon stone is his heart. The heart of a lich. Its only weakness is the key to immortality. Thinking of this, he smirked, then cunningly replied, Oh yes, sir. He raised his hammer curiously and asked, I wonder if Catellia understands what a contractual relationship is. Didn't she say, this blood demon stone is structurally weak?
Acadia answered yes.
Master can easily crush it with his own strength. Cattleya, hearing this, became frightened. Wait! Let's negotiate. Spare me and I'll give you anything you want. He asked curiously, Anything I want? He thought for a moment and decided. Your life. Cataleya countered. Anything but that. What more do you want? My treasure. All the magical knowledge I've accumulated over centuries. I'll give you everything. Uninterested, he refused. No need. A terrified Cataleya ordered Simi. Simi, kill him! Hurry! He swung his hammer arrogantly and declared, I'll crush you before Simi gets here. Catlai screamed in terror. No! He swung his hammer, and Catlai Gitzman was dead. My ambitions, my dreams, Catlai murmured. The stone then shattered. The soldiers cheered. All right! The destruction of the stone greatly affected Simi. He screamed in pain. Ah! He reached towards Dazit. Master! Something spread out, confusing him. Huh? What is this? A notification popped up. You have absorbed the essence of a high-grade blood demon stone. Physical strength greatly increased. You have received 20 mana points. He was shocked. What? Did I really just get mana? He wondered. His status screen quickly updated. Judian, 17 years old, servant of the Ika household. Strength, 15, agility, 12, mana, 20, battle power, 425. Seeing the agility 12 and mana 20, with a battle power of 425, Judian couldn't help but feel elated. This exhilarating feeling, power surged through his veins. This was one of the reasons he endured the mistreatment, all the hardship of being a servant. It was to gain mana like this. But only 20? A 500-year-old blood mana stone, and this is all I get? Suddenly, Akadia spoke. As expected, the absorption rate is very low. I don't understand. What do you mean, absorption rate? Judian asked, confused. Akadia explained. The yin mana from that stone. I applied my filter to it. It can be adjusted so the host can safely absorb it. The absorption rate is only about 8%. After saying that, it absorbed all the remaining fragments of the stone. Confused, he asked the filter, Why did you do that? While absorbing, it replied, Because this isn't mana, but demonic energy. If you absorbed it all, your mana could reach thousands. But I don't think you want to turn into a demon. So I automatically activated the filter. Hearing that, he broke out in a cold sweat. I almost died. Right after the blood demon stone, my skull would have been next. Just then, Dazit and his soldiers arrived, calling for Judian. The sudden summons startled him. He worried, if they see me absorbing demonic energy, the next thing crushed might actually be... Suddenly, Daiichi placed a hand on his shoulder, then praised him. Thanks to you, Judian, well done. Everyone applauded him. Then Acadia suddenly appeared and said, I'll maintain a safe distance. After retrieving the sword, the group returned to the city. Upon their arrival, the Count burst into laughter. Ha ha! My son, I knew you would succeed. Kalen cheerfully replied, Thank you, father. The Count, brimming with pride, declared, Now no servant will dare question your abilities. You are the future of the Iga family. With my talent, Kalen boasted arrogantly, this outcome was inevitable. The Count immediately chimed in, Indeed, indeed. The Count continued to flatter him. Once you inherit my position, our family will finally achieve true glory. I haven't been here long, but I can already see this family's downfall. I never thought I'd witness the collapse of the Count's house firsthand. The Count amused, The spoils of war are incredible. A whole caravan filled with treasure. The family's wealth has increased dramatically. In about a week, someone from the Duke's estate will come to appraise the Holy Sword. Even if the Duke doesn't come personally, it will be someone no one dares to underestimate. Yes, Kalan, whoever it is, make a strong impression on them. Kalen firmly replied, Yes, father. The Count continued to sing his praises. Thanks to this campaign, your fame will spread throughout the Empire. And since Duke Dafifon is involved, it's bound to happen. Kalen's face was filled with smug satisfaction. He stood there watching the two of them, feeling utterly helpless. If people knew this dungeon belonged to the Lyzitmans, Kalan would become a world-renowned knight. But perhaps it's best to keep this a secret. I'm already exhausted from the stress of it all. What if he messes up after becoming famous? This makes sense. I still have to play the role of Kalen's lover for a little while longer. Once the Count sees Kalen's impressive achievements, he'll feel at ease. Then he can finally send him out into society with peace of mind. Kalen and Judian, yes, you are summoned. Quickly kneel down. Yes, Count. He begins to commend you. Dazid and the other knights all speak highly of you. Hearing this, you humbly reply, I only did what any servant of the young master should do. The Count approaches, places a hand on your shoulder, and decides, No, The way you attacked from outside the Death Knight's range, most others would have just stood there trembling. You deserve to continue serving Kalen. I want to entrust my son to you once more. He was furious about the reward. This is way too much honor, he thought. I don't understand. Didn't I say I was going to escape? Moments after receiving the bonus, he immediately changed his tune. Long live Kalen! Long live Ika! A year-end bonus, plus 10 days of paid vacation. Escape? Forget it. I can't give up this job. Acadia also wore his bonus gold, radiating authority. You look very happy, sir. He happily counted his money. Money is happiness. Acadia disagreed. No! I still believe the things I secretly took will be more useful to master than that bag, he replied. Those things can't be used yet. You said everything you took was saturated with mana. Right. What if we try exchanging it for tower money? A mage would notice immediately. Acadia replied, You're right. But I followed your orders. Still, though, I wish I had taken everything. Hearing this, he placed his hand on the book and said, It's a shame, but we already have the real treasure, so it's all right. The most important thing to a mage are their spell books and research. They pour their entire lives into them. He rejoiced. The Truhongkat Lay School was once among the top 3 on the continent. Just a few of their spell books could buy several castles. We'll need money for the future. Even if we can't use them right away, they'll be a great help later on. Acadia agreed. Exactly. He began to ponder. The real question is, how did the Deadline Bandit Knights became the Grim Reaper of Deadlines once again? That part isn't really explained in the original. And Dailai, he was later brought back by the protagonist's ally. The Holy Sword Knight, Doc. He retrieved it after visiting his family. I think so, anyway. It doesn't say exactly how he got it. The story shifted to a war with the Spectres, so the author probably skipped over those minor details. That guy, Doc, he didn't steal it out of greed. I'm sure he has a deeper connection to the Spectres. Our first major enemy will be the Spectre race. We must retrieve your terminal from the Spectres. They will be our greatest obstacle. Acadia, hearing this, declared resolutely, Then we'll just have to wipe them all out. He agreed, exactly. When Cat Lai died, it forced the Spectres to finally take action. He posed as a mage from the Johan Kingdom's royal court. For someone like that to die so suddenly, the Spectres and Johan will act for the future. We have to get the demon sword. Acadia, I don't understand. Wouldn't the holy sword be more effective against Spectres? Why the demon sword? How would that work against Spectres? Please explain. The holy sword is too difficult to obtain. Besides, our holy aura attracts Spectres. Look at the deadline. We die 10 times over trying to get it alone. But there's a demon sword in the Akana region. Acadia, are you sure? Really? Yes, I'm certain. If we can get it, everything will be much easier. The Diablo demon sword. Bazan village, population around 500. Bazan village is quite large for the Akana region. Suddenly, someone pleaded, Judian, please, I beg you! He's a pimp. The village head of Bajian, near the territory of Waika. He was furious. I don't want to accept this village head. I came here to rest. I didn't plan on working. Before restoring Diabo, I planned a short break in my hometown. Initially, I thought something serious happened. But the truth is, Mako cried pitifully. Please, Judian, I beg you. Mako hugged him tightly, explaining the situation. I just received a notice that the tax collector will arrive in a few weeks. Not only are the numbers wrong, but the paperwork is also a mess. If it's not fixed, there will be big trouble. You're the only one who can do this. Seeing his incessant whining, he finally gave in. Fine, just this once. I can handle it. Mako replied, It's not just that. The fines and other penalties are all due at the same time, because you're smart enough to be hired by the Earl's family. This will be over quickly. Please save me. You're bringing up the past again. You should have learned when I told you before. Mako's rich, it's too difficult. I have a solution. Or we could hire a scribe with village funds. Mako refuses, it's too much money. But Mako won't choose either option, and it's driving me crazy. Look, I can't stand it anymore. Just this once. Mako gratefully thanks Judian. You're the most precious treasure our village has ever produced. But he resigned himself to poring over the ledgers. I came here to relax. But a beaming Mako tells Judian, Tonight we're having beef that I hunted myself. I'll head to the storage room in a bit. Hearing that, he became curious. Really? I came here with nothing. But thanks to the village chief, I survived. He checked the documents and found that there were almost no errors. He fell into deep thought. They say that knights with immense physical strength and enormous mana don't feel tired. even after fighting day and night for a week? Is it because of my mana that I'm not really tired? By the next morning, everything was resolved. Finished! Look, you're like a savior, making Mako bow down and accept. I'm proud to have done this job for 2 years, so I can handle paperwork like this, with my eyes closed. Suddenly, Mako reminded him, by the way, Judian, tomorrow at sunrise, visit Jebecca. He was cheerful. Hearing this, he became bewildered. Why Jebecca? His question confused the old man. Why do you ask? Why wouldn't it be her? She looked after your house while you were gone. Isn't it only polite to thank her? Judian trembled. I never asked her to do that. She did it anyway, the old man affirmed. Yes. She said she had to look after the house until you returned. And she walked there every day. Because she said 3 people in the village had caught the same illness. And she was managing an empty house for you. Be a man, Judian. Judian clutched his head in fear. She really? Suddenly terrified, he fell to his knees. Then he jumped as Jebecca stormed in, radiating anger. Jebecca ran towards him, her face bright. Judian! You had a nice vacation, didn't you? Judian stammered, confused. How did she get here? She pointed at Judian. Now, Judian, Becca, I told you Judian was tired, and he'll be here tomorrow. She slyly replied. Sorry, village chief. He looked at Mocha, his face pale, and called him village chief. He quickly apologized. Jebecca's upset, you know. You don't have to act like that. He turned away, frightened, and apologized. Now, Jebecca? Her full name is Jebecca von Luzan. She's more suited for a big city than this village. Too beautiful for a place like this. Plus, she's lively and has received many confessions. And I've heard rumors that some nobles have been eyeing her lately. If it weren't for the village chief's protection, something bad might have already happened to her. Normally, a man who rejects a beauty like that would be called a fool. But I don't want to get involved and die. The real reason, I left the village and followed Kalen. It was all because of Jebecca, a devil eater who absorbs demonic magic and transforms into a sorcerer, just like Jebecca Luzan's blood. She's one of the heroines of this universe, and the main female character in the protagonist's group. She's the yandere heroine, the one who stabs the protagonist in the back and whispers sweet nothings to him. This is Jebecca's true form, Luzan from her castle in the sky. Jebecca is a demon hunter. She inherited the blood of her half-demon, half-human parents. Years ago, she was almost kidnapped by those who wanted her blood. When I realized that, with the help of the village chief, I rescued her with the village watch. And ever since, Jebecca has shown deep affection for me. And finally told me her full name. Immediately, I ran to Count Waika's mansion after receiving his offer. Those emerald green eyes and that orange hair, they say they turn crimson red when fully awakened. Embarrassed by his staring, Becca asked, "What are you looking at? Are you in love?" Becca asked playfully. He quickly denied it. "It's nothing." "Are you falling for me?" He quickly denied it. "No, it's nothing." He continued thinking to himself, frustrated. At first, the name Becca was so common. I didn't realize who she was. By the time I figured it out, we were already close, so I couldn't keep my distance. And as a result, I'm handling everything so clumsily. "I'll go get the salad and stew from home," she said cheerfully, running off. "Wait a minute, Judian," he quickly stopped her. "No, you don't have to do that." He looked at her, thinking to himself, but I don't see the madness from the original story. She's a ticking time bomb that could go off at any moment. But why can't I just coldly push her away? It's because both Judian, an orphaned child, and myself, someone who had to live alone here, find it hard to refuse another person's warmth. To be honest, I didn't have any strong attachment to Bagian village. Before being hired by the Count, I was openly looked down upon for being an orphan. The only people close to my heart were the village chief and Jebecca. If it weren't for Jebecca's awakening, I might have taken her for myself. Asterisk scene change. 2 men, seemingly captains, asterisk. What's wrong, Captain Linny? I've been thinking, don't you think we've gone too far? Honestly, I don't even know what we're doing. We're just following orders. Aren't those orders a bit too vague? Why are we invading Yggdrasil territory? Pretend to be bandits, and we have to find a grandmaster or a 9th level mage in the territory of Ika. Even if such a person exists, wouldn't it mean certain death for us? His silence prompted Lin to speak again. We've never received such an absurd order. They want us to find someone who's among the strongest in the border region. Someone even on the level of Duke Gritly of the Empire. It's a miracle Master Sim hasn't found out yet. He sank into thought. I know how ridiculous this order is, even if it's from higher-ups. Just 3 days ago, the military commander himself ordered us to scout Ika's territory and find out if there's a grandmaster, he's a 9th level mage, or someone who has a contract with a spirit king. And why Ika's territory of all places? Just a few days ago, we received intel that a minor lord from the Yeka clan had recovered Duke Delphifon's celestial sword. Less than half a day later, a search order was issued. Something's not right. There's a connection. 3 days later, you and Becca were just observing the surroundings. It's puzzling. What are you thinking about? The atmosphere in the village feels strange today. Now Becca mentions the situation in the village. Apparently there have been bandits appearing in the southeast part of the village. You exclaim in surprise, are they crazy? Then you start thinking, this village isn't far from the Yeka capital at all. If it were an impoverished territory or a remote area beyond the reach of central authority, it would be understandable. But bandits appearing in such a crucial border region is unusual. This is a major border area. Normally, they'd be eliminated by nearby patrols. J. Becca claims this hasn't been confirmed, but since yesterday, adventurers passing through the border have stopped by the village to give warnings before leaving. If you heard that, why didn't you say so? The village chief didn't mention it. She explained it was late last night, and it seemed like he was being extra cautious. Seriously? You think it's nothing? Come on! The bandits can't just be a coincidence. In the 3 years I've been here, I've never seen bandits active around the border. So they've moved. 2 days later, near Ika territory, Acadia exclaimed, "Found it! We finally found the dungeon entrance!" So you're sure about this? Looks like this is the place, just like it was described in the original story, compared to keys scattered across the world, or places only accessible during solar eclipses, or lunar eclipses. Compared to those places, this is relatively easy to reach. Acadia looked around and spoke up. This place is relatively well hidden, but it's not impossible to find. It's puzzling. What? Has this location remained unknown for so many years? He responded to her question with a chuckle. Well, that's because they're all dead. The sword demon Diabo. This is the sword demon Diabo, the place where the ancient demon king Diabo was sealed. A being of such high rank he instigated wars since time immemorial. Even records of him are practically non-existent. In terms of ranking, it's a flawless holy relic. Even compared to the Zondia sword, originally this was a weapon, only attainable after overcoming the most grueling trials. The most difficult, however, this sword is currently stuck inside an empty cave. There are no guardians or monsters guarding it. The reason it remains here, unclaimed, is because the moment someone tries to touch it, they're cursed and vanish without a trace. Even great dragons have fallen victim. If it were to be revived now, before the main story even begins, it would be a catastrophe of epic proportions, capable of completely flipping the entire chessboard. This means if I could control its power, I would have enough power to reshape the entire game. So the crucial question is whether 80's protection. He anxiously asked if Arcadia was truly all right. Can we really resist the curse of this sword? It told me not to worry too much. According to Master, that sword is one of the demon kings who participated in the Great Demon War. Is that right? You're sure about that? Acadia clarified. I didn't directly participate in the Great Demon War, but I know the general power level of the gods who participated until I saw that sword demon with my own eyes. But considering its weakened state due to the seal, I believe I can definitely protect Master. Trust me, I'm worried. How long ago was this sword created? The Great Demon War took place at least 10,000 years ago, and Adi said the ruins where it was sealed are about 3,000 years old. The Adora civilization. Maybe it's not just from 3,000 years ago, but from an even older civilization. He finally arrived at the place Acadia mentioned, right before his eyes. A sword radiating a menacing aura appeared. He cautiously approached the sword. The Mariabo sword. It looked like an ordinary sword. There were no special decorations. In fact, this simplicity was the reason Diabo chose it. He reached out for the sword. He drew it in one swift motion, a grin spreading across his face. All right, let's do this. Suddenly, his eyes shot open. He jolted awake. Wait a minute. He was completely naked. He was holding the sword as if ready to fight something. He stared at the blackness in front of him. Panic set in. Where were his clothes? More importantly, he couldn't move. His mind was elsewhere. That blackness? It was emanating something. Acadia rushed over, worried. Master, are you all right? You don't look well. She bashfully covered her face, while he remained expressionless. He wondered, what did you see? By the way, how long was I out? She asked. Acadia said she purified the mental corruption, he replied. It was trying to take over its master's mind, so about 5 minutes passed. Hearing this, he was surprised, thinking about the mental corruption. I thought the curse on the demon's sword, he mused. It wasn't just a simple case of mental corruption. It's a curse that transforms you into the Demon King. That's right. Anyone who becomes the master of this sword inherits a portion of the Demon King's power and mind and begins to transform into the Demon King, becoming the embodiment of Diablo. The problem, however, is that the power is too great for any human to withstand, and their body collapses. Thanks to Adi, I was able to avoid the curse of becoming the Demon King and still use the sword. Yes, this is enough, even though I can't unleash its full power because of the curse. Even Diablo itself is enough to overwhelm the capabilities of an ordinary magic sword. Suddenly, he looked around curiously. What's that sound? Suddenly the sword spoke. Is this really the first human I've encountered in thousands of years? And in the end, he will die, unable to withstand the curse. Another failure. Damn it! Two arms emerged from within the sword, leaving him bewildered. What is this? Diablo told me he was bored being trapped in here. That damned Archangel Uriel. If I could just get out of here. If there were even just one creature can withstand the sword's curse. But I will use all my power to help them, without hesitation. But that's impossible, isn't it? How can a mere human possibly endure a curse that even the Dragon Lord couldn't withstand? He said the promised time is drawing near. I'm so bored. I'm going back to sleep. Diavolo is cheering for the human. Be strong. Don't be defeated by this curse. You can do it. He finally speaks up. But Diavolo keeps going on. Be strong, huh? Annoyed, he snaps, You're too loud. Diavolo gasps. You're still alive? No one's ever survived past 30 seconds. When holding this sword within the human world. Wait, time has been distorted due to the seal being in place for so long. It hasn't even been 10 seconds. Are you really all right? He scratched his head and affirmed. I'm fine. You don't believe me, Diabo. He reassured her again. Really? I'm fine. You don't believe me, Diabo? That's impossible. This curse was designed by the archangels themselves. They used incredibly complex rituals. Even gods couldn't survive. Hearing this, he had a sudden suspicion. Wait, maybe they were devils instead of angels. Diabo responded, In that case, would you have surpassed the transformation into a demon king? If that's true. So it's true. You're completely unaffected by human curses. You are worthy. You deserve the aid of the ancient demon king. Diabo has been sealed. Now make a pact. Not a curse pact, but a direct blood pact. You will gain the power to wreak havoc upon the world, without any price to pay. This is a one-of-a-kind offer. He sighed, thinking, in this overwhelming state. I could do anything, he asked. But isn't there something missing from this story? You're offering power without a price. But shouldn't you mention that once the mythical age arrives, you can escape this sword freely? You can escape this sword freely? Diablo stunned, his secret exposed. How did you know that? He pointed accusingly at Diablo. The pact you offered comes from the sealed demon lord Diablo. Once he's released, the pact becomes void, doesn't it? Later in the novel, Diablo, he acts as an external source of magic for the main characters. Until the mythical war, he willingly lends his power to the swordsman Doc, loyally without any conditions. No strings attached. But once the seal is broken, Diablo ruthlessly kills Doc. Diablo stammered, Who are you? He smirked. Doesn't matter. Let's make a bet, Diablo. Intrigued, Diablo asked, What kind of bet? Use all your power. Try to dominate me. If you succeed, I will willingly become your slave. But if you fail in the next 100 years, you will give me all your power and wisdom. Even if the mythological era arrives and you escape the sword, it won't matter. Diablo burst out laughing. Ha, ha, ha! You don't know your place, do you? A mere human. Even if you were lucky enough to avoid the curse, you're far too arrogant. Such arrogance. I will turn it into the arrogance of a demon king. Fine. 100 years. 100 years it is. You've waited 10,000 years. What's another 100? You have no reason not to cooperate, Daichi thought excitedly. He took the bait. If there were no time limit on the bet, Diablo would be naturally freed in about 15 years, as promised, and he would never accept my offer. But if there's a time limit means he's 100% guaranteed to accept my proposal. Diablo, radiating demonic energy, said excitedly, Good, it's decided then. If you can escape my control, he thought excitedly, if I keep using him like this, until the seal is lifted, it will be safer. But if I can use Diablo's full power, and right now I could minimize the immense losses in the upcoming Great Demon War. Next Monday, Diablo's demonic energy radiated everywhere, awakening him in a different space. Looking out, he saw it was a beach. Confused, he looked around. What is this place? Did Adi fail? No, if mental corruption had taken over, I wouldn't be able to think. But if I succeeded, I shouldn't be seeing this. Suddenly, he turned around and saw something overflowing with demonic energy slowly approaching. He smirked, recognizing Diablo's true form. It was described as being so large it could cover mountains, but this was smaller than expected. Diablo approached him, praising him. Truly surprising. Could there really be a human who received the hidden blessing of the gods? Diablo truly couldn't believe it. Impossible. A human blessed by a hidden god. And it actually exists? Hearing him say that made him suspicious of the hidden god. Was he talking about Adi? Adi, of course. Clearly stated it was an AI created by a civilization. But with that kind of power, oh, it's no wonder it's mistaken for a god. Diabo so arrogant. But it seems even that blessing couldn't fully protect you. When an incomplete bloodline like this appears, seeing the scene before him filled him with unease. What does this unfolding scene mean? It's not success, nor is it failure, but a state of ambiguity. Diabo pointed at him, questioning, "What will you do next? All of my power has been sealed. But in exchange, you've also temporarily lost the protection of that god." He spoke up, "And what will I do?" "Just come at me," he finished, taking a fighting stance. He was worried. If from now on everything was unpredictable, whether the outcome was death or a full meal, wouldn't it be better to just roll the dice once? Seeing his arrogance amused Diavolo. "Ho-ho, you've got guts. What are you planning to do?" "Are we going to fight?" Daichi asked. Suddenly, Diavolo said, "No, I forfeit." Daichi was surprised. "What, you're backing down?" Diavolo sat down excitedly in front of him. Trembling at a single word, he mocked. "And yet you dared to challenge me to a duel?" Truly befitting the title of Proud Demon King. Annoyed, Daichi snapped, "Shut up." Diavolo shared his premonition. "I sense a strange fate surrounding you. This is going to be interesting." Diavolo's rambling confused Daichi. "So what? The flow of fate sounds vague. What do you plan to do with it?" Diabo made his decision. "I'll willingly cooperate with you, kid. Surprised, aren't you?" Diabo continued. "I have a feeling following you might be fun. Besides, if I win you over now, I won't have to face that other entity." Suddenly, Acadia's massive eye appeared, watching the confrontation. "You made him mad, buddy."
What the? Diabo caught me off guard.
Acadia, my apologies, my deepest apologies, master. Its power was beyond expectations, causing a delay. I will now release the Law of Domain. After releasing the Law of Domain, he returned to his body. Diabo had made up his mind. "Please take care of me for the next century." He went down so easily. It's kind of unsettling. Well, not bad. Not bad at all. At least I have a foundation now. A base for the disasters to come. After obtaining the Diabo sword, Daichi returned to Bazin village. He trained tirelessly with the sword. Jebecca watched him completely captivated. Seeing his intense focus, she got a nosebleed from excitement. "Daichi, are you training again?"
I thought you said you were giving up swordsmanship.
He turned to her with a bright smile. "Because I've found hope again. I'm satisfied with Adi. Mana and Diabo in my hands. I can forge my own path now. I don't have to live as a side character anymore. This is a world consumed by war, even with alien species, so my own stats are just as important. As my equipment, should I join the knight's training? With a mana stat of 20, I'm about average for a knight. But sensing mana and actually using it are two different things. If anyone found out I could suddenly use mana, it would be a problem. I absolutely can't let anyone know. But even if I trained alone my whole life, it would be hard to truly master swordsmanship. Isn't there a better way?" Just then, Becca spoke to Judian about yesterday. I was about to discuss countermeasures with the village chief. He quickly understood what she meant. "You mean about what happened yesterday? It must be those guys. The bandits, or maybe demons." He was talking, but Becca wasn't listening, just kept touching his abs.
Hold on, Becca. Are you even listening to me?
Acadia was tasked with observing the bandits. He finally returned with a report. "Nothing unusual so far," he told Becca. "Requesting aid from the Grand Estate is a different matter. We should at least make minimal preparations. Of course, the best outcome is if nothing happens," he thought to himself. "But even if things get really bad, I can handle it myself. So it's fine." Suddenly he realized something. Wait, could this be Becca's awakening event? From the original story. Because I prevented Becca from being kidnapped.
The original plot might have deviated.
I couldn't just ignore her out of pity back then. But the butterfly effect from this could be dangerous. Deadly, even. Seeing his dazed expression, she curiously called out, "Julian? What's wrong? Is there something on my face?" She asked, flashing a dazzling, heart-stopping smile. "What are you imagining?" He pictured Becca running him through with a sword. Terrified, he forced a laugh. "Haha, nothing." As night fell, rain suddenly poured down. On a muddy path, a figure led a horse. Another person followed close behind. The one behind called out, "Luciella, it's raining. Slow down a bit." Lucilla turned and said to the other person, "Uncle, they say the holy sword of Dalai, missing for 55 years, has been found." "Aren't you excited?" The man grimly replied to Lucilla. "Are we?" "So weak that we must stake our fate on a symbolic. A relic?" But she's still concerned. I'm so curious, though, even if the deadline isn't the Holy Sword of the Order God, it's still one of the most famous divine weapons. The Empire has, the other person agreed. You're right, but, well, even if it takes a little time to retrieve it, we should assemble a proper team with proper decorum. Luciella doesn't care, Uncle. Your presence alone is enough decorum for the Ika household, the man said affectionately to Luciella. If I hadn't been dragged along on this duet, and I wouldn't be suffering like this. The two entered the territory of the Count Ika family. The scene shifted to a tower. Mako ordered everyone to rebuild the fence. You call this a trap? Sharpen those blades properly. Are you doing this half-heartedly, you idiots? You can't do anything right. Do you all have a death wish? If you don't know anything, ask Judian. He's served the young master through many battles. Stop your whining and ask him. Listen carefully. We're looked down upon by the villagers, and you show up, telling us to obey a filthy orphan? That boy used to beg in front of the village elder's house. Look at him now, climbing the ranks. He remained silent, causing Acadia to worry. Are you all right, master? He somberly replied, not entirely. But this isn't the first or second time I've heard such things. Honestly, Acadia, I don't really care. But Dia doesn't see it that way. Yet your face says otherwise. Seeing you so frustrated amuses me. I can't help but tease. That negative expression really suits you. But for someone who's supposed to be my contractor, you to be mocked by such trash is quite unpleasant, with just a touch of magic power. I could turn them into low-level monsters instantly. Low-level monsters in an instant. Let's see. It seems Diabo is about to punish the villagers. He quickly stopped him. Stop it, Diabo. Stopped in his tracks, Diabo felt a pang of regret. What a shame. That would have been an entertaining display. You seem eager to use your power, he questioned. Diabo replied casually, I'm just bored. Suddenly someone called out, Hey, Judian! He turned around to see Mako with an announcement. You're here? He looked at the newcomer with a somber gaze. You're from the Information Guild, I presume? The one the village chief requested? A while back. The person greeted him. Greetings, Judian of Ika. Inside the house, after hearing the information, he was shocked. Fort Condor 2 was attacked. How can you be so sure? By now, Count Egret must know as well. Condor 2 is a military fortress, he pondered. So at the very least, they're not just some random bandits. Their true identity. No need for me to say it aloud. The newcomer replied, Precisely. Those bandits are most likely soldiers from the Johan Kingdom, disguised and infiltrated. They're currently hiding out in the nearby mountains. Once the pursuing forces withdraw, they'll immediately resume their activities, causing chaos in the surrounding areas. 3 regions have already been attacked this way. A large-scale extermination force will likely be assembled soon, so the problem should be resolved quickly. But I don't think the bandits are the real issue. If it's just a cavalry unit, with my current strength, I can still handle them. The real problem is whether there are demons, or their minions among them. If that's the case, this battle will be much more fierce than I anticipated. Suddenly, Acadia warned, Master, they're coming! Surprised, I replied, Already? That fast? Then there's no other choice, I thought. Then stood up and grabbed my cloak. He stepped outside and immediately called out to Diablo. Hey, Diablo, what's so hard to understand? He asked. I'm asking for your help. Diablo accepted with a gleeful, Very well. Why not? Consider it a bit of entertainment? Assessing the abilities of this era's descendants could be quite amusing. Suddenly, Diablo offered a helpful reminder. But remember this, even if I lend you my power without a price, your current body is too weak to withstand it. Annoyed, he said, I know that already. Diablo chuckled regretfully. If you had become a demon as I suggested, things would have been so much simpler. He replied, I know that too. But if I became a demon, I'd definitely end up being hunted. By the main character, or some secret society. It'd be a huge pain. Suddenly, someone came running, calling out, Judian! Jebecca, drenched from head to toe, looked at him with worried eyes. He thought she looked incredibly worried. Could it be her demon devourer blood reacting to danger? He went to comfort her. Don't worry, Jebecca. Wait here for an hour. I'll take care of this quickly and be right back. The rain continued to pour down. As the villagers faced a group of bandits, Mako, their leader, yelled, brandishing a club. Listen up. This territory is under the jurisdiction of Marcus Ika. We've confirmed it with the Information Guild. You're not just some wandering thieves. One of the bandits scoffed. Oh, really? Is that so? Looks like the Empire's information guild is actually useful. Seems we've been a little too obvious and got caught quickly. Those Ika bastards will be here with their whole army soon. We've been suffering
Because of this damn order for days.
I'm gonna take my anger out on you all and make you pay. You'll compensate me for everything. Standing in a corner, Daichi activated his ability, observing the man. He was as strong as a low-level knight. His status board appeared. Bernat Cacho, captain of the 3rd Special Cavalry Unit of the Johan Kingdom. Age 32, title none. Stats, strength 17, agility 21, stamina 18, mana 15. Total combat power 1280. After a quick glance, Daichi was certain. This man was definitely one of the attackers who raided the villages and hills recently. A fight was unavoidable now. Staying to fight would be a death sentence. Daichi drew his sword and yelled, "Village Chief Mako, order everyone to retreat immediately." The villagers panicked. What's happening? Where do you think you're going? Bernat charged forward on his horse, berating his men. Those bastards, why aren't they chasing us yet? Bernat quickly gave chase. Mako's furious energy made the old man flee in terror. But Bernat lunged forward, aiming a killing blow at Mako. Luckily, he intervened just in time. Bernat was shocked. He blocked it, a sword infused with mana. That bastard. He's actually channeling mana into his sword. He swung down, sending Bernat's sword flying. Impressed, he complimented Mako's swordsmanship. Not bad at all for someone so young. Your sword skills are quite impressive. Looks like I've finally stumbled upon a real treasure. Today's my lucky day. He quickly ran off, cursing Bernat. Who said I was yours, you bastard? Bernat was startled. What did you say? He then furiously charged towards him. You dare run in front of our cavalry? Suddenly, someone else charged in. The bandits were hit. Seeing this, Bernat quickly pulled back on his horse's reins. He was furious, cursing those filthy rats. Damn it, they planned this! Archers were lying in wait up there. He turned, giving a mocking middle finger. Just figuring that out now? Bernat surveyed the surroundings, assessing the situation. Judging by the lack of life in the village, the villagers must have been evacuated beforehand. Bernat and his men charged forward. Kill them all, there aren't many archers. Just be careful. No problem. We'll corner them and kill them one by one. He laughed confidently. Just a bunch of militia, commoners with weapons. No matter how many there are, they're no match for us. Suddenly, one of the bandits was knocked off his horse. What the? These damn brats! He looked up to find a sword at his throat. He swiftly killed the bandit with Diabo. Bernat was shocked. That guy knows how to use a sword? He was the one who blocked the captain's attack. Don't underestimate him just because he's young. Mako, order the archers to fire. Lure them deeper into the forest. Now move aside and reveal the other 2 archers. Fire at them from this side. Take them down. One of the bandits approached Bernat. Captain, what should we do now? They seem to be well prepared. Should we wait for reinforcements? He was furious. Wait for reinforcements just to catch these guys? No, Bernat ordered. Don't pursue them yet. Meanwhile, somewhere nearby, the village elder's voice called out. Are you sure you're all right, Judian? He observed the situation while formulating a plan. We need to reduce their numbers as much as possible, even with a skill gap. If we use the terrain to our advantage, we still have a chance. Mako quickly denied. That's not what we're talking about. But you, how long can you hold out against those soldiers? Hearing Mako's question, he smirked. Haha, don't worry. I'm not gonna die, he thought back. Before, he could barely handle 1 or 2 soldiers. But now, with newfound confidence, he assured Mako, I'll be back. I finally have 1 foot in this damned world. Meanwhile, inside a house, gasps for air echoed. Becca crawled on the ground, muttering, No, I have to go. But if I go, I'll only hinder Judian. She remembered the past. Sitting in some kind of ritual, she resolved to control herself, to endure. The demonic energy of the Diablo sword seemed to reach Becca. Her eyes became crazed with hunger. I want to eat. I want to eat. He continued to fight the bandits outside. He thought if he borrowed Diablo's power, everything would be a piece of cake. But it was a power he couldn't fully control yet. If he used it recklessly and lost control, the entire village could be caught in the disaster. A bandit cried out in fear, You can use mana? Without another word, Daichi killed him. Oberon warned his men, Don't go near it, it's a trap. These lunatics, they set traps meant for monsters? A villager said proudly, Of course, hunting traps are the most effective way to deal with beasts. Damn it, Oberon cursed. They've turned their land into a living hell. He remembered the previous villages. In the other villages, our ambushes, we only
Needed to take a few hits as examples and they'd beg for mercy.
They're putting up a crazy fight. I can't believe it. Mako pointed at them, a triumphant smirk on his face. That's the iron will of the Three Valleys villagers for you. You think your pathetic thugs can just waltz in and take over our village? From behind, a man pleaded with him.
Village chief, please calm down.
He thought to himself, Three Valleys has the highest veteran population in the region.
Even the civilians are trained in basic combat.
Not to mention, Chief Mako was a former captain, dishonorably discharged from the 5th Unit for brawling. He could take on an entire squad by himself, especially back in his prime. But now, well, Bernat, you damn bastards! Mako roared. Annoyed, Bernat interrupted. Just kill them all. It's that simple. Having witnessed Mako's strength, Bernat worried. We can't underestimate him. A mere child, barely grown, yet able to withstand a mana-infused blow. He suddenly spoke. Are you the heart of this village? Unbelievable, to have awakened mana at such a young age. For your desperate efforts, and those of the villagers, I will grant you some useful information. Intrigued, but keeping a straight face, he listened. Bernat, he said, this place was the final objective in the Copper Unit's strategy. If we advance further, we'll reach the heart of Ika territory. So we consider this our practical limit. He and I are merely Copper Unit captains, not commanders. You understand what that means, don't you? He quickly realized. You mean that you're not the only ones attacking this place? I'm not sure, but he seems pretty confident. Sweat dripped down his face. By now, we've only made it this far thanks to those traps. They've done their job well, but if even one more squad shows up, this place will be wiped out. Can we hold out? Reinforcements from Waika City must be on their way. But the question is, can the militia last until then? Should I use Diabo's power? He quickly shook his head. No. It's not that bad yet. Deal with these guys first, then worry about that. Suddenly, a voice called out, Bernat, what are you doing? Bernat turned, a smile spreading across his face. Captain! Seeing more enemies arrive filled him with dread. Damn it, not now! A man emerged from a dimensional rift near the village of Bazan. He quickly used his ability to analyze the newcomer. The man's status appeared. Name, Alex Uma, age 145. Rank, Captain of the Special Copper Cavalry Unit, Johan Kingdom. Stats, Strength, 27 plus 13, Agility 30 plus 12, Stamina 25 plus 25, Mana 28 plus 30, Total Combat Power 3,620. Traits, Mid-level Minion of the Demon Lord Elite, half human, half demon, a demon's minion. Here, Alex rode closer, his horse radiating a menacing aura. He felt a cold sweat. This was bad. The only good thing was that he was alone. No other enemies in sight. Even his base stats alone were completely overwhelming. Those numbers in parentheses must be the boost he got from becoming a minion, a demon's minion. A combat power of 3,620, he's practically on par with Daisy. A true powerhouse. But a guy like that is only a mid-level minion. Not even high-ranking. Can I even stand a chance against him? I've read the original story, cover to cover. I know the general strength of the named demons, but reading about it and facing it are two different things. Worlds apart. Alex Bernat anxiously apologized. Captain, I'm so sorry. Because of my incompetence, we've lost so many men. Alex cursed at the useless fool. Then he clenched his fist and punched Bernat, sending his head flying. He was horrified by the scene. Alex turned to Mako and yelled, Run! Seeing Alex's cruelty, Mako cursed, Damn it! Then he turned to the villagers and shouted, Everyone disperse! Mako ran, glancing back worriedly. I'm so worried about Judian, but there's nothing I can do to protect him now. Based on my experience, that guy is way out of our league. Please, Judian, survive. The bandits quickly pursued the fleeing villagers. Only he and Alex remained. What are you so worried about? Alex suddenly asked. Why are you interfering with our business? He raised his sword defensively, confused. What are you talking about? Weren't we supposed to have prior contact? Alex countered. Or did we act too quickly? The order hasn't come down yet, but this is your territory. So why? He couldn't understand what Alex was saying. What the hell are you talking about? Don't underestimate my intuition, Alex warned. There's no need to feign morality. You think I don't know? You also serve the Great Ones just like me. I am Alex Huma, servant of the great demon Lord Elix. What is your name? Who do you serve? Hearing this, Daichi couldn't help but curse inwardly at this idiot. He was mistaking Daichi for one of his own. Daichi noticed Alex's sword, Diablo. It must have been the demonic energy he carried, the mark of his pact with Diablo, that Alex sensed, making him think Daichi was a fellow servant. Even Diablo seemed somewhat impressed. Alex is pretty perceptive for a human, Diablo commented. Daichi started formulating a plan. At this point, he needed to buy time for the village elder and the militia to have a chance to retreat safely. He spoke up, introducing himself. I am Judian, Alex questioned. No last name? Not a noble? Who do you serve? Hearing Alex's barrage of questions, Daichi understood. It's understandable. When demons infiltrate the human world, they choose their pawns carefully, especially considering their status. But there's a way to dispel your doubts. He said, I serve the goddess Ammodius. Alex, intrigued, exclaimed, You serve the goddess of lust and pleasure? Indeed. Only members of the cult know that name. Diablo, enraged, retorted, Goddess? A lowly wretch like Ammodius is called a goddess? She dares call herself a goddess? What has happened to the order and hierarchy of the demon world? While I slumbered, Alex looked at him with disdain. You look so weak. No wonder a goddess took notice of you. Looks are a skill too, I understand. He was annoyed that Alex deliberately mentioned Ammodius, because the only criteria she used to choose her followers, it's not about status. There's only one thing that matters. You're young and beautiful, he then explained. I've never received any special orders from her. But clearly, you're the ones trespassing on my territory. Alex found this a bit troubling. This is a bit of a problem. It seems the news hasn't reached this place. Properly, that is. Unlike the Esbird region, they probably haven't established themselves here yet. I'm curious. I wonder where they sent the message. I haven't received anything yet. Alex explained, well, that place is quite far from here, so that could be the reason. Are you sure the letter reached Viscount Beltus? Hearing this, he couldn't help but feel intrigued. Viscount Beltus, huh? That name rings a bell. So he's the demon's puppet, huh? Are you putting on an act now? I remember now. Count Gatsby von Belta, or no. He's only a Viscount now. Isn't he the intermediary for that family? That Viscount. In the original story, he was such a minor character I completely forgot about him. Alex, irritated by the taunt, flew into a rage. Unfazed, he pointed his sword at him. So it's true then. The chaos after the deaths of the Lazith Mons caused all of this, and that's why they sent someone as strong as you to a remote village like this. Alex's face darkened. What's with that killing intent? He demanded. He replied calmly, It's nothing serious. Are you getting ready to... Is it that strange to fight the enemy in front of me? Alex, annoyed, retorted, Hold on a second. You think with that meager strength of yours, well, you can stand against me. Whether it's blessed power or abilities honed by human effort, you are far inferior to me in every aspect. As he spoke, he advanced towards Alex, gripping his sword. Diabo Alex thought, well, I don't have any blessed powers to begin with. Oh, and my abilities as a knight are far from his. But that's only if we're talking about pure ability, Alex. With that thought, a murderous aura erupted from him. Alex froze. Diabo, the sword, offered a kind reminder. Kid, your body can only handle this power for a minute. Push past that limit, and even a god won't be able to save you. I know, Alex replied. Well then, Diabo said, let's see how strong that coward elite's henchman really is. He lunged forward, Diabo's sword flashing. With one swing, he slashed Alex, causing him to cry out in pain. Alex retaliated with a punch, but Diabo swiftly dodged. In one swift motion, he brought the sword down on Alex's hand. Alex's hand fell to the ground. He stared in agony. What was that? Why isn't it regenerating? Diabo smirked. Tell me.
Does it feel like your very soul is being torn apart?
That's because Diabo's blade doesn't just cut flesh. The reason the Diabo sword is considered a supreme weapon is because later on, it becomes a crucial element. It's one of the few weapons that can kill a god. Diabo's power doesn't just inflict physical damage. It directly attacks the soul and divinity. A power that can wound it's fatal even to immortal beings. That's Diablo's true power. He smirked and said, I was originally going to risk it all for a close-range attack, but you let your guard down. That's your mistake. Refusing to lose, Alex attacked him with his other hand. You think that's enough to beat me? But just as he punched, his fist was stopped by demonic energy, preventing it from reaching him. He was terrified. Why is my mana being sucked into that dark energy? That power is definitely not something the goddess of lust could bestow. Of course not, Diablo said arrogantly.
How dare you compare me to that lowlife?
He reminded Diablo to be quiet. Time is almost up. Alex still couldn't believe it. Impossible. A mere mortal blessed by the god. Release your power. Alex challenged. But before he could finish, he received another slash across his remaining arm. His entire body was then sliced to pieces. He lunged forward, driving his sword straight through Alex's heart for the final blow. A sense of satisfaction washed over him as he confirmed Alex's death. Normally, battles fought with mana would pollute the surrounding land and air, causing dangerous demonic transformations as a side effect. But Diablo had another useful ability. It could completely absorb mana from other demons. Thanks to this absorption, there was no trace of pollution or risk of detection. He declared arrogantly, The time will come when I will behead every last damn demon in the Johan Kingdom. Alex, fading away, hurled angry insults. You damn traitor, he scoffed. Still clinging to delusions? Just die already. With one final strike, he finished him off. After defeating Alex, he let out a sigh of relief. Satisfied, he praised Diablo, seeing someone get sucked in like that. Truly worthy of a demon sword. Diablo, flattered, responded. Consider yourself lucky. Even a trace of demonic energy left behind. It would have been a huge problem, he affirmed. I know. Diablo then voiced his own question. But why did you let that human girl go? Is she special to you or something? Caught off guard by Diablo's question, he stammered. What are you talking about? The demons might be targeting Jabelka. This all started with the disappearance of the Clayman, after all. Diablo offered his own theory. If she's a descendant of that predator, it wouldn't be strange for the demons to be interested in her. If she awakens, she might even become someone worth keeping an eye on. Why don't you wake her up and keep her for yourself? She has the kind of face human men would go crazy for, right? Annoyed, he shoved Diablo back in the bag and snapped, "Shut up!" If you had seen what the protagonist in the original story went through, you wouldn't. You haven't spoken like that in a while. Whether Jabeka awakens or not is Abo's choice. If I can help it, I just want her to live a normal life. I told Diablo not to mention Jabeka again. I don't intend to have anything more to do with her either. Hearing that, Diablo felt a glimmer of hope. Well then, let's see how things play out. He thought, if the original storyline continues and Jabeka later becomes Albert's comrade, and then we might meet again. But not now. Suddenly, Acadia sensed someone and alerted her master. Someone's approaching. He was startled. What, those bandits are back already? Acadia said, but they don't seem hostile. It's just an old man and a young girl. An old man and a young girl, he wondered. That is a bit strange for travelers. What should I do now? I'm running out of energy. And if they're not enemies, there's no need to avoid them. Just then, two people approached. He tensed up as soon as he saw them. How can this be considered normal? Look at their clothes. They're clearly nobles. If I had known they were nobles, I would have run away. Lucilla removed her hood and greeted him. Hello there. He quickly smelled blood, then stammered, hello. At that moment, Lucy's uncle, Ella, walked up and said, You're like a little dog always on guard. But as a warrior, you pass. He activated his ability, but a message popped up. With your current ability, you cannot see the opponent's information. Lucy's uncle, Ella, complimented him. Your instincts aren't bad either. Seeing that message surprised him. I can't read their information. Is it because the power difference is so huge? He's overwhelmingly strong, terrifyingly so. Uncle Lucia approached the slain soldiers and asked, Did you do all of this? He denied it. It wasn't just me. I did it with the village militia. Uncle Lucia observed the bodies and said, You definitely killed these ones, though. He confirmed, yes. The man approached cheerfully, praising him. Ha ha, you look barely older than a teenager. Which noble family are you from, young man? Seeing his uncle's interest in the boy, Lucia thought, It's been a while since Uncle has shown interest in anyone like this. The man stated firmly, He's got skills worth my attention. In a backwater place like this? There's no decent academy. Yet he awakened to mana. At his age, of course, he's caught my eye. He was stunned, unable to believe his ears. Just by looking, the man recognized he had mana. Lucilla turned to him, curiosity in her eyes. Mana? I'm not even a graduate of the Imperial Academy. Ha ha ha! If it were the Academy, I would have known right away. He became wary. This man was more formidable than he thought. Just who are you? You're clearly not a local noble. Well, Lucilla, the man asked, what's your name? He stammered, Judian, sir. And your family name? Confused, Judian replied, I don't have one. Surprised, the man exclaimed, You're not a knight? Lucilla was equally shocked. What? He scratched his head, chuckling nervously. I'm just a guard for Lord Kazan von Ika. It was a shock to learn that an awakened swordsman, mana is just a bodyguard's tool. Even this mana, I kinda cheated to get it. He started putting on a show for them. This is my home! I only fight to protect my village and its people. Besides, I want to see what this new power can do. He turned to them and asked, Who are you two? I've never seen you around here before. I've been a guard for years, even among the nobles. He thought, I don't recognize your faces. You must be from somewhere else. Us, they replied. I am Kate von Defifon, the Margrave. And I am Luciella von Defifon, she added. He was stunned. Kate von Defifon, the sword saint of the Empire. The strongest swordsman alive in the Mojian Empire. And the younger brother of Duke Defifon, the real power behind the throne of the current empire. A legendary figure, former commander of the Royal Guard. And get this, he's the predecessor of the Sword Saint Dork, the guy who joins the main characters in the original story. In other words, the previous sword saint. And by the looks of it, he's still active. Lucilla? That name rings a bell. She's a huge supporter of the protagonist and a commander on the front lines against the demons. In the original story, she was married, so she wasn't a contender for the main heroine. But she had a dedicated fan base with unique tastes. They absolutely adored her. But right now, forget marriage. She looks so young, probably around my age. Her face is still so youthful. That confident expression, it's a perfect match. It's exactly like the description in the original story. The Defifon nobles coming here. It must be because of the holy sword, Kate asked him curiously. Who taught you swordsmanship? He stammered, well... Then he quickly composed himself. Calm down, he thought. He put on a smile and lied. I just learned the basics from a passing mercenary. Just someone passing through. After that, I practiced by training with knightly orders in different places. Different knightly orders all over the place. Kate's father was curious. A mercenary and anonymous? If it were the king of mercenaries, I could understand. Nothing distinctive about this teacher? I'd really like to meet them someday. Acadia gasped. Me? He thought, exasperated. I can't exactly say I learned from an AI, can I? That my swordsmanship comes from the ancient Adosian civilization, preserved in Adi's databanks. I haven't mastered all the sword techniques yet. But at the end of the day, I might be the only one left who knows this ancient swordsmanship. From a bygone era, suddenly Lucia spoke up, telling Kate, Uncle, don't pressure him so much. You're making Judian uncomfortable. I apologize. You're usually a man of few words, but today you're unusually enthusiastic. Judian was surprised by Lucia's apology. A noble who knew how to apologize? Especially a young noble? They were usually arrogant and unpleasant. It's all right, he said. Lucia ran ahead and suggested, the village is in ruins. We should clean it up first. Uncle, give me a hand, okay? Kate followed, resigned. All right. Judian finally understood. Now I understand why Luia is so popular. In the original story, she's practically the ideal female lead candidate. But by now, Daichi had been brought back to the Yggdrasil residence. Noisy chatter filled the air inside. Prepare a feast. Immediately? Sir Daisy, you are responsible for protecting the Marquise and the young lady. What heartbreak? I'm being dragged back to the main residence too. I'm still on vacation. I don't want to get caught up in any more complicated matters. Why does a nameless guard like me have to participate in the appraisal of the Holy Sword? Kate waved goodbye. See you later. Lucilla too. Thanks, Judian. He returned to the mansion. Ika was sprawled on her bed, lost in thought. Is Becca all right? She looks so stressed, like she's about to catch a cold. For some reason, Becca refused to stay for treatment and insisted on coming along. So, you finally got dragged here, huh? If I stayed in the village, I'd be forced to fix everything. So, I half-willingly came along. He started to worry. But who would have guessed? The scent of blood I smelled when I first met the Marquis, Kate and Luciella. It was the blood of those special forces. Just the two of them wiped out over 500 elite soldiers. He was determined to become stronger, reclaiming all of Adi's control stations. It would be insanely dangerous. To master Diablo, I need to reach at least Swordmaster level. Instead of wandering around as a mercenary, it's better to train with the Knight's Order to improve my skills as fast as possible. Suddenly, laughter and chatter erupted from outside. Curious, he opened the door to peek. A party was in full swing. The sound of lively conversation filled the air. Seems like the deadline situation worked out all right. Not bad, though in about 5 years, this place will be hell, not a peaceful hideaway. I hope they can enjoy this carefree life a little longer. Suddenly, Acadia announced a visitor. He turned, surprised. Oh. Kalen and Dee rushed into his room. Well, Judian, Kalen questioned. Why aren't you at the party? He was taken aback by Kalen's appearance. He scratched his head awkwardly. I'm not exactly noble-born party material. I just get chewed out if I went. He declined the invitation. I'm not worthy of attending anyway. Kalen was confused. What are you talking about? You're my bodyguard. Well, of course I have to assist Master at the banquet. He apologized to the young master, secretly wishing that he would acknowledge he was still on vacation. He thought for a moment, then stood up straight. I was being foolish. Seeing his remorse, Kalen seemed satisfied. It's good that you understand. Suddenly Daichi spoke up. So, Judian, I hear you made quite a contribution this time. He stammered, yes. Thank you, sir. I apologize for causing you concern. Has the news already reached the Count? Usually. It takes a few days after a thorough investigation. for information to spread. That means that either Marquis Kate or Luciella directly reported your achievement to the Count. That's unexpected. Daichi said, "Sir, the Count is very pleased with your performance this time." He suddenly felt uneasy. "That's odd. Daisy's been quite talkative today," he stammered. "Father." Everything with Duke Daffy Font went smoothly. But they had an additional request. This piqued his curiosity. "Oh, interesting. But did they really need to come here in person for that?" "Getting to the point. You must enroll in the Imperial Academy and train there for 7 years." He was confused. The man affirmed yes. He could only force a smile. "I think I understand," even though Kalen made a huge contribution by reclaiming Deadline. From the Duke's perspective, if that troublemaker causes any more problems, it will damage their reputation. They probably want Kalen to behave and stay put in the academy for 7 years, to wipe away his tainted past. "What a naive dream," Dasid scoffed. "As for this trip to the academy, you're included too, Judian." He was completely stunned.